your tail a little bit, Mike.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've been doing this for quite some time now, too. I mean, what's kind of end game? You know, what got you into this in the first place? Start off with that.
Um, Always enjoyed selling. For some reason, I sold newspapers, waterproofing, all during as a teenager. Did all kinds of crazy stuff, and that led into eventually real estate, which I did for a decade. But because I was always kind of I always liked finance and was interested in that kind of stuff. It just was a natural progression. But 10 years of real estate, another 25 of the mortgage game, and I could have probably retired about 5 years ago, but honestly, I just really love helping out people, especially because this is probably one of the top 5% life events that will ever happen. And
What do you mean by that? Life events? Like, you mean a big purchase?
getting married,
Mm-hmm.
having children, relocating sometimes, but buying a house, financing the property,
It's a big
it's
deal, isn't it?
important. Yeah, yeah. I try to be a guide for people or an advocate. You can ask us anything and everything. I'm here to guide you with you, of course, and just help people out. And obviously, it's been beneficial because now my original clients that I started with, now I'm doing their kids. Hopefully, I'll be around long enough so I can do their grandkids. So just kind of see how that plays out, you know.
Yeah, you've been kicking for quite some time, and I'm starting to see the same too. With being in my about late teens, early 20s when I first started, none of my buddies were really looking to get into it just yet too. Buying a house, like you said, it's a significant life event. Not many 20-year-olds are buying homes these days. It's probably starting more, I'm seeing in like the 30s. And now that all my friends are kind of reaching that age, I'm starting to see that turn of events to the next, step. Like you said, kids come along.
Yeah.
People are getting married and stuff too. It's kind of like, I've spent quite a while doing this, and now it's nice that I'm able to help out my friends, and like you said, some of your clients' kids might be a little more relatable to me. And I'm starting to see like that I can, help them as well. So
That's
it's
great.
cool to see that your book of business is basically transferring to me next, and I'm just kind of stepping into helping out now your original clients, kids and grandkids. So
Yeah.
kind of cool the way that works.
I think the biggest issue right now is affordability. There's a lack of inventory, significant, especially post-COVID, and the drive up of prices is insane. What your mom and I bought this house for, you couldn't even get a condo today, which is sad. Inflation has really jacked pricing, and that being said, it's definitely, if you can do anything on, it literally is starting to take two incomes anymore, and if we can come up with incentives, programs, anything that we can possibly do to help our clients, I try to turn that stuff over.
Well, we've talked about before the benefits of, like you said, with two incomes, but if we found for a first-time homebuyer program with limit caps on your income, if we can qualify you based off of just one, then we typically will do that. So It doesn't mean that you're not both still on the deed to the house and all your important stuff, but if we can do just the mortgage under one person, get them a better rate, sometimes that is part of what our analytics are too. That's can be a big deal. It could be a couple $100s of a difference just by doing it under one person.
Yeah, I know what you're referring to. Sometimes we have programs that are income limitations, but they're super beneficial. They might be a rate program that's the lower rate, better private mortgage insurance costs and things like that. But if you make too much money, then you're disqualified. So sometimes if our clients are in agreement, we can maybe structure the loan in a different way, maybe use one of the spouses or one of the significant others, whatever the situation is, and maybe just use one instead of two if they're in agreement, and meet some of those income requirements, take advantage of those programs. So it's always that. But getting back to trying to find what's going to happen in the future is really important to me, because I really don't see prices going down unless, you know, and I don't really see builders building a lot of first-time home buyer type of properties.
Take a look
Everything
around,
is,
like, what are you kind of seeing in our area? What's kind of the median purchase price these days? I see a lot of, mid fives to sixes floating out there, which seems like a pretty tall order now, but it seems like those are still,
a hanger,
you're falling
got a
behind.
hanger.
Seems like they're still flying off the shelf.
Take advantage of my hanger.
Well, I'm solids, aren't
I think we're just shooting around. Yeah,
I? Got plenty of money.
one of the things that helped your mom and I way back when is we bought a multi-unit, bought a duplex. Not that that's everybody's dream starting property, scratch. But the
Not
first thing
practice.
your mom and I did was we bought a multifamily, and we lived in one unit, one apartment for about a year, which allowed us to buy it as an owner-occupied property. And after that, we moved on to another home, but we used the rent to help us,
See, you
pay
guys
the
ended up
mortgage.
retaining that.
And 38 years later, we still own that now, and it's a 2-unit property, and it's a like another investment. And I'm real big on investments for.
So you'd say it's pretty beneficial if you can do it to maybe get into the rental property space too? I mean, yeah, I got a lot of people that are interested in that, and now, like I said, my age group is starting to say, hey, I got the next 35 years, 40 years to think about. What's some long-term things I can hold on to?
Right.
And rental properties is a big one that I'm starting to hear. So, I mean, you've been doing the landlord situation for quite a long time now. So, yeah, what's kind of the experience with that? I know you've had your frustrations with it, but it sounds like it's also been very beneficial.
I'm gonna shoot since you didn't shoot. Oh my God, what is wrong with me
I
today?
gotta say, your hand eye's off.
Yeah,
I forgot your monocle upstairs.
old people. No, we stink. As you
I'm
can
proud
tell,
of
we
you.
don't use this table. We're too
we're-
busy to be shooting
Like
pool
I say,
anymore.
we're just so busy these days, we don't have time to brush up on our pool skills.
Yeah, getting back to all our little chit chat here. Yeah, I think one of the things I always talk to my clients about would be if they do, they start off maybe even with a condominium or something, those eventually become great investment properties if you wanted to hang on to it. Rental business is not for everybody because landlording can be challenging, it can be rewarding. So, there's a lot of, and anybody anybody ever wants to talk investment property, reach out to me because again, I've been a landlord since 1988 or 89 anyway, and
a lot of time, yeah.
I've been through the mill, and like I said, I still think it's a great opportunity. Real estate can generate wealth over the long haul, even sometimes over the short haul. But it's also got tax advantages. So ever want to chat? Just anybody can reach me.
Yeah, and now we're starting to get, I know you mentioned a couple of lenders specific to purchasing some of your odd properties like that, or, rental, we just did a couple years ago for a friend of mine that bought a farm and stuff too, so I mean, we're starting to
10 acre.
expand on,
Yeah.
there's USDA loans out there and stuff, I mean, is there?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, what's some of the other, like, what are some of the ones?
Well, getting back to Joe and Annie on their place, I mean, that had more than one building on it. It had 2 residences
Yeah,
on
it's 2
one
tax
property. There were a number of pastures that I know they enjoy for their horses and everything. Some of those properties are a little bit challenging for financing because not every Tom, Dick, and Harry lender will do those type of programs or those type of properties. Being a broker, the relationships that we've created with credit unions, for example, some of these places will hold on to that mortgage specific for the duration, so they're more willing to be available to finance those type of properties. I run into this all the time. people will come asking for help on, like I just had a gentleman the other day, it's 2 storefronts and then 3 rental properties above. And I have a place for that. We also have, we just did, the 2 brothers in Reading, they took a very inexpensive property, a 2-unit, but they picked it up for like next to nothing, I think about $10,000, dumped $100,000 into each, dumped $100,000 into it, and then came to us to do, get their cash back out.
So you do a cash out refi for
Yeah,
them,
we
and
pulled
they
a lot
end
of
up-
money out, and they're taking that money and parlaying that over into another property, another
Yeah, I was
project.
gonna say, so we've already done 2 for those guys, and they're just kind of coming to us after each individual flip.
Right.
We just basically parlay the cash out that they, once the property is valued higher, they just take that money and they put it into the next property. So it's a great investment. They're, a couple of young guys that are
Yeah,
starting
2
to make
brothers.
waves. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's a great opportunity for them. And they keep coming back to us because we have, the program for it. So it worked. Yeah, everyone's happy. It all works out.
The other thing that I find is a challenge for some people are a lot of my business owner clients. Being self-employed, you're trying to lower your income as low as you can for tax purposes, all that you're able, and then they come to us, and of course now we're trying to squeeze as much income that we can as possible to, not squeeze, but actually generate income. And that can prove challenging sometimes because, initially what we're doing is looking at somebody's tax returns, whether it's their business return or personals or a combination of both, and trying to figure out, where's the income at. So we analyze all that. We also have alternative loans. They're known as like non-QM type loans, bank statements. I think you lost. Bank statement programs, just a whole host of different cash flow type of programs. So long and the short of it is we kind of try to have a shoe for every foot, so to speak. But being around the game as long as we have been, you just build relationships with a whole variety of investors. So nobody should ever hesitate to, give us a shout. And
We definitely got the resources
Yeah.
to do pretty much anything across the board.
Yeah.
I think we've really covered a lot of different scenarios
Yeah.
over the years. Like I said, too, you've been doing this for 35, and with me being with you for almost 15. I mean,
Yeah.
we've
We've been in
definitely
the
come
trenches.
across a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the thing, we just don't specialize in just doing the gingerbread, plain vanilla stuff. I mean, we'll take on anything that comes our way, like you said, from farms to businesses, unique properties. We run into sometimes condominium projects that aren't approved for normal financing, and just kind of come up with the solution. That's what I love about the business, is I find that as the challenges, people will come to us with sometimes really just a kind of an odd situation, just looking for help. And if I can't do it, I have always reached out and said, listen, this might not be in my wheelhouse, but I know a guy or I know a gal
Yeah, we
or
got enough
something like
resource-
that.
yeah,
So
somebody else.
yeah, I mean, and that's the beauty of just kind of networking and working with your sphere of people. I mean,
Yeah.
we've got some great contacts, that we can always rely on for
And just
for
getting the
whatever
job done
product.
too. You mentioned like we had a condo that's not FHA approved.
Yeah,
And there
just
was an
saw-
option for a spot approval where they would just, rather than the entire community being approved.
Yeah, but that didn't work.
It doesn't
But-
work.
But we
Doesn't
turned the
work,
rack
that's-
around and we came back and were able to find a way to do a 3% down convention. We used the home ready and we actually got them
That's
with a
right,
couple
see.
more percentage points down.
Yeah, so there's
We were
always
able to, we
options.
just got it approved. I'm actually gonna start working on that on Monday. Had another lender that said they couldn't touch it, couldn't do it. And then I just gave her the word, hey, we got you approved. Gonna update our documents and whatnot. I'll have that done in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, see, exactly. There's always multiple angles too that we can take, and just having all that resource really
Enough content.
really benefits.